How should we handle the Tampa Bay Rays pitcher staff? And why 2021 is such a unique challenge to analyze. We have Nick Pollack of Pitcher List here for part 2 of our starting pitcher preview. Next on Beat the Shift. Welcome to another episode of the Beat the Shift podcast. I am your host, Ariel Cohen, and with me as always, Ruvain Guy. How are you, Ruvain?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, pitchers and catchers now just a couple of days away. Can you believe that?
Yes, 1 week away. I know the Mets and Yankees are both reporting in 1 week, and the schedules actually came out, and, you know, you can take a look, see when your teams are playing. Hopefully they'll start on time, and we'll have a full season.
Yeah, I've never been to a spring training, but my wife had been taking my kids a couple times in a row, and that was just fantastic, where they got to just talk right up to the players. I guess that won't happen this year, so that's a little bit sad, but nice to know that things are back.
Yes.
Otherwise, how are you doing, Ruvain, all right?
I'm doing great, dealing with the snow and thinking warm. That's all.
Yeah. All right, well, we've got a great guest tonight. He is from Pitcher List. You all know him, Nick Pollack. Welcome to the show.
What is happening? Oh, it's so great to be here, and so great to talk to you guys again.
Our pleasure for having you back. What's doing? You're a New Yorker. How's your dealing with the snow and a little bit of snow in the Northeast in February?
Oh yeah. So I haven't had the opportunity to go out and really enjoy it much. I have been toiling away at 6.0 that is coming out on Tuesday. So there's that plug. Let's just get it out right away.
Want to give a little preview of what's going on there at Pitcher List right now?
Every year we do our new launch of the site. And this year, I don't want to spoil it, but we are making a significant shift as to what we do at the site. And it's only an addition. Don't worry, we're offering a lot of new things. It's taken a lot of work to create this, and we cannot wait to show you. So that comes out at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 16th. Cannot wait. And hey, Ariel, 2 days later, I get to hang out with you at PitchCon.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, you want to tell everybody what that's all about?
Sure, why not? 4-day baseball conference online, all streamed on twitch.tv/pitcherlist. We're raising money for Feeding America. Half of everything we raise goes straight to them. And it's 44 hours of everybody from the industry just talking about baseball. We're going to have things like a graphics competition across our graphics team. We're going to have you're going to do a great panel with Ron Chandler and Derek Carty and Rudy Gamble about projection systems. We have all this stuff, Rob Freeman, Foolish Baseball, MLB Random Stats, and John Boy and Jake. I mean, it's going to be great for 4 straight days, 11 to 10. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, starting on the 18th of February. So this is what I've been working on for the past month and change. So I just got to peer out the window looking at that snow like an old curmudgeon at the age of 32.
Nice. Well, I was a part of that last year, and I got to tell you, that was one heck of a conference. And I guess you'll post, just everyone follow Nick Pollack if you don't already, and you'll get details of that. And take a look and take a watch. You won't be disappointed.
You had a great presentation last year.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, and I got good placement. It was the one right after yours, right? I got a good lead.
There we go. I needed to keep them. I peppered them up for you.
There you go.
And you had the. It was ATC projections. Like, who doesn't want to know what's in the recipe there? That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk a lot about it today, but do check out the article that I just dropped today on interprojection volatility. Now ATC doesn't only come with projections; they come with how volatile a player is, talking about the parameter risk, the skewness of a player, the volatility of a player, everything you'll understand by reading the article. It's a biggie, so check that out on Fangraphs today. But we're going to go right into our strategy section here, and since we have the Pitcher List guy himself, we're going to talk about pitching. And the first question I want to ask you that really goes to the heart of time and preparation and what is important to do and what is not important to do. You know a lot about the heavy analytics that goes on with pitchers. We have guys who are just throwing fantastic articles about spin rate and
Oh yeah.
contact off the bat, and there's a lot of very, very advanced concepts. And my question is, for the average person out there who's listening to the show, how worth it is it for them to really get into the deep diving as opposed to just looking at simple metrics? Like, is it worth somebody's time, or is it something that they should be doing themselves or just reading others? Like, what do you think about heavy analytics and how it applies to the average person?
That's a great question. I'm going to say no. Don't worry about it. You're getting intimidated by this stuff. Look, even me, I see some of these things, and at first I go, "Oh my God, am I undervaluing this guy because I don't recognize, his spin efficiency on his curveball? Like, should I be thinking about it again?" But I think many of us in the industry will also tell you we have such a cornucopia of information now that it's really hard for us to understand which, what we should pull from it, what we should be eating from it, right? And I would say if you just get familiar with the basic sabermetrics, say like K- walk rate. That is one of the best indications of success, bar none. All those extra little bits, they help us get an understanding of how they do what they do. But often those are expressed in other metrics, and you don't really need to focus on it. I mean, good example that I have is Chris Paddock last year was not as good. I mean, I don't think, you don't need me much to tell you that, yeah, he wasn't very good, right? And it was very disappointing for your fantasy teams. But when you looked into it, we saw, his fastball was not performing well. Okay. Why wasn't it performing well? There's the idea that it was off its spin axis, and that means that he wasn't essentially getting the same amount of rise that he normally was, and that means he does not get the same swing strikes, and they're hitting it cleaner. That's fine. But if you just see the fact that his fastball is allowing more hits and not missing as many bats, it doesn't matter all the exact reasons why those numbers are there, but just that they're there, right? So you don't need to get bogged down in all the incredibly minute details of every single pitch. But I will say that, there are like three levels of understanding these metrics, right? There's the shallow ones, which is just like your BABIP and your home run per 9 and your whip. Then you have the actual pitch level stuff, where if you look at the individual pitches on their own, they will tell you a much better story. Oh, he only has 2 pitches, and really only one of them does he miss bats on, and he's kind of inconsistent with that. Oh, he has 4 pitches, and when one isn't working, he can throw another one that's also going to earn me strikeouts or get outs in the field. That's really, really good. And if you understand that level, you don't need to know all of those intricacies of the actual chemistry of making a pitch work. So it can be intimidating. Trust me, I've been there myself. But if you just get to that second level, I think you'll be vastly rewarded. You don't need to trek farther than that.
So do you think that there's a difference between looking at pitchers in season versus preseason? So, for example, you mentioned K minus BB, strikeouts minus walks,
yes.
And for me, that's the first thing I look at, which really stabilizes very quickly in a season. But I feel that a lot of these metrics, it's hard to know what to do before the season. Like, what did a guy do last year? But once you see how a guy is performing this year and how close he is to his normal profile, or if he's better or not, that's a big indication. So, for example, if I see like a change in velocity, guy is all of a sudden, the first 3 games, he's up 3 miles an hour on his pitches. Whoa, that's a huge indication. But that's not something I could tell before the season starts. Or I'll look at his ground ball to fly ball to line drive profile, and I say, wait a minute, this guy is getting more ground balls this year. That sort of interests me. I find that there's a number of quick, not that deep statistics that you can get very much in season, but I find that a lot of the more advanced ones are more helpful in a preseason evaluation. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I think so. You're talking to the right person about like in-season decisions. That is what, oh man, it's the most fun thing, right? Because I do the SP Roundup. I write about every single starter every single day, right? That's just pretty much how I do this.
Right.
And I'm following what they're doing. I'm following their pitch changes. Was this curveball effective this start? Was it not? I see consistency on a game by game basis, sometimes on a at bat basis through the games. And that gives me so much more information. You know, we're spending months and months and months preparing for essentially, I say, the first week of April, right? Because after that, or maybe really like the first 2 weeks of April, it's all like thrown away. You know, we have all this new data. I mean, obviously there are some situations of, okay, we think this guy's going to rebound. He's not this bad. Of course not. It's not too quick to quit your studs after, you know, a week or two. But we really get so much data. I mean, as you're saying, velocity increase. I mean, pitch usage. All of a sudden, he's throwing that changeup that he wasn't before, and he's getting the whiffs on it. There's a lot of those intricacies that really, really help in season. And I think you make a great point that, cool, in the off season, we can kind of sift through those narratives a bit easier when we see those giant, macro changes, right? And when he's getting, oh, wait, I didn't realize they increased the spin on this curveball by 300 RPM or whatever it is, right? I mean, that is a better indication that something might be sticky that might present itself quicker in the season, right? So I'm with you there. It's funny to me. And I kind of bank on this a lot because, I mean, that's in my whole pitching strategy, but that's another tangent, about like how you find talent in season. And if you draft accordingly, knowing that you're going to be able to find talent in season, then you can actually set yourself up for a more successful season.
Actually, you actually hit on the follow-up question that I want to ask you. How many innings into the season do you say, okay, you know what? This guy figured it out?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'd say there is no right answer because it's nuanced, right? There's certain guys that I inherently know are volatile, that I know that one start, good example, Spencer Turnbull last year. I've been saying for a while, Spencer Turnbull's sinker is not a good pitch, and it's frustrating because you can even see when he has success, it's when his fast four-seamer, he trusts it and does well. But when he doesn't, he goes sinker, he has just worse performances, right? First start of the year, no sinker. It was pretty much like a 5% sinker after throwing a 20, 30% before. I got really excited. Oh, and then he brought it back the next start, right? And then I learned my lesson. And there's certain players like that doesn't matter how many innings I get. I don't know if I'm going to be able to trust them. Now, if they're a veteran, though, if they have more of a track record of doing something opposite, and then all of a sudden there's something getting tweaked here, then I buy into it more. It is very much of a case by case. I can't just say how many innings. I can also say, like, look, if he just did something and had success with it, more often than not, they will continue doing the thing that they just had success with. The question then is, are they going to be in rhythm enough to trust that they can continue doing that? That is, no one's going to be able to get that right, but that's kind of the fun. You never know.
Right. I'll go to Ruvain first for this one. Talking about, qualitative off-season information. Like sometimes you get, hey, this pitcher has a new pitch. The pitcher bulked up in the off-season. He has a tweak in his delivery, that kind of thing. So for you, Ruvain, what things do you hear that you actually pay attention to, and what to you is just noise?
Well, first of all, for a pitcher who's been struggling or a pitcher who's been doing well and wants to improve their game, it's two different completely things. Well, Chris Archer, who just re-signed with Tampa, said he's going to eliminate his two-seam fastball. His two-seam fastball got crushed. And if he eliminates that, he may be back a little bit to more of the pitcher he was before the trade and everything like that. Then you have a pitcher like Lucas Giolito, who said he's going to use his curveball more. What will that mean? Is that going to mean he's going to get hit more? Is that going to mean he's going to use his fastball, which is great, even less? And then another thing is if a pitcher has two pitches and they said they're learning a third pitch, or they have three pitches and they're learning a fourth pitch. The question is, I would watch them during spring training because you're going to see them. They're going to try out a whole bunch of stuff. That's what spring training is for, and that's why a lot of these pitchers struggled and didn't do that well early last year because the spring training was very abbreviated. They didn't get to their normal groove. They didn't get a chance to try out these little tweaks that they're doing. And, these are things that you have to watch for and see if they're going to change during the course of spring training and then during the course of the season.
Nick, you want to add something to that?
Oh, man. I love that. Like, spring training is so important. I know we say, stats in spring training, we need to ignore that stuff. No, but there are so many fantastic stories and things you can track that will affect the start of the year. And Chris Archer, man, everybody has forgotten about this. I did. I thought he would be missing more time. I didn't realize he'd be starting out of the gate, and I completely neglected him for ages. And now I'm kind of like, Chris Archer, why wouldn't I just take a shot and see what happens right out of the gate, right?
You're talking to the guy who never picked